Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. This is where I enjoy sharing my insights. And today I'm talking about why is it so hard to say no to the low-hanging fruit. These are the so-called no-brainer choices, the obvious choices, or settling for what comes your way, the first thing to come along, the cheapest, the easiest. This is about settling in a different way. Not settling for what you can get, but settling for what's right. Stick around. How do we say no to the low-hanging fruit? The so-called obvious choice or no-brainer. This conundrum can be illustrated in a number of stories. One of them I like is Jerry Seinfeld, who turned down $150 million for one more season of Seinfeld. Of course, we could all say, well, that's easy to do when you're filthy rich. But still, if you're filthy rich, isn't $150 million pretty damn appealing? I don't know of very many people, even very wealthy people, who would have had such insight to say no. So I admire Jerry Seinfeld very much. And it's no small surprise that he's been meditating since the 70s. So meditation is one of those things that gives you insight into what I call the highest harvest, which is to know what's right for you rather than choosing what's right in front of you. And this whole thing can be seen as sort of returning the lottery ticket or tearing it up, saying no to that so-called dream job with all the amenities and the benefits, and really knowing what's right for you. I can remember this happening to myself in many instances, the last of which was I was offered a free place to live. And I had just quit a full-time job, and I was doing a part-time job, which was extremely edifying. And they offered me a nice one-bedroom apartment downtown in a secure location, all expenses paid. And in this space where the apartment was going to be built newly for me, I sat and couldn't make it feel right. We are so often tempted by the obvious choice, or what you might call the no-brainer, or settling for what's clearly within your reach. And I have never been good at that professionally. Like in my professional goals, I've never been good at settling for the low-hanging fruit. Now, that is not to say that in other areas of my life I have been tempted by what looks easy, the straightforward path. And sometimes the straightforward path or the low-hanging fruit is what feels right. That's called synchronicity. Sometimes when there's no synchronicity, you have these insights which lead you to these lofty desires which feel like you can't even reach them. There's a gap between the highest harvest, is what I call it, and how to get there. But yet it feels right. And it feels like you're being offered all sorts of bargains and easy roads in the obvious choice. And you just can't settle for it anymore. It's a bit like that person that knows deep down inside what's right for them in a partner. And the first person that comes along and winks at them or gives them a little kiss, and they're putty, they settle. That is a way of betraying yourself. But it's too tempting. The easy path or the no-brainer is just, we're offered it all the time. This would be like making a decision because it's a bargain. To me, low-hanging fruit or the obvious choice is lack mentality. It's got lack mentality all over it. You hunt for a bargain, the best deal, the first person to come along. The one and only opportunity you've had in 3 years. Well, I haven't had sex in 3 years, so I just might as well go ahead and do this. It's my only choice. Whereas, you'd rather have sex with somebody you really love and feel comfortable with. Well, this is the only thing I got. And every single time we shop for a bargain, we take a job for an amenity, we take it because it's free, or we say yes to it because it's $150 million, yet it doesn't align with what's right. So what's right and what's right in front of you seem worlds apart. And you got people saying, that's a no-brainer. They're offering you 2 weeks paid vacation. That's a no-brainer. They're offering you a free apartment. That's a no-brainer. They're giving you some attention. That's the first action you've seen in 5 years. To the person that can pass it up, I say, you're reaching for the stars. That's the highest hanging fruit, but it's not hanging. It's way, way, way up there. Only you can know what's right for you. And I don't care what it looks like circumstantially. It may appear like you are committing circumstantial suicide. Man, that building is perfect for your business. It's in your budget, it's blah, 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 and you don't feel right about it. Nope, that's not the building I want for my business. That doesn't fit my vision, my insight. See, that's what wisdom is. Wisdom is bold. It's stupid. It's completely out of reach to the people who only look for the low-hanging fruit. Again, what's the cheapest? What's the easiest? What's the first thing to come along? If it happens to be the cheapest, the first thing to come along, and the easiest, that's synchronicity. It's working. It's aligning. But if it doesn't line up with your inward vision, the most important thing is to say no. And I don't care what's crumbling, what's deteriorating, what's not working. This is an unflappable commitment to your own dream. And to advance confidently into your dream, as Thoreau would say, is bold. You kind of sneak up on success by learning what's not right. And you must understand what's right for yourself. How do we do that? We meditate. We come back to the silence. Does this action, does this offering, does this person, does this whatever, does it align with what's right for me? And if the answer is no, we say no. those who are into high harvest. Well, my YouTube channel's not going anywhere. I wonder if I should make a video. Nobody's watching my videos. I wonder if I should make one. To the person involved in high harvest, that doesn't matter. The low-hanging fruit are subscribers, viewership, any kind of byproduct. If you're reaching for the low-hanging fruit, you'll never achieve anything of high quality. Because high quality, or the oblivious choice, is a mysterious, circuitous unfolding that makes no sense to the eyes. If it makes sense to your eyes, it's probably not very exciting. If you can make a plan and you know exactly how it goes from beginning to end, it's probably not very exciting. I'm talking about positioning yourself for surprise. This is how miracles are set up. By sticking to the inward vision and turning down 150 million, turning down a free place to live, turning down the first person that gives you the time of day. Unless you get that right fit inside. And you know this is the right action, this is the right time, this is the right thing. And you do not settle until that rightness emerges in you. And those are the ingredients of the high harvest. So why is it important to say no to the low-hanging fruit? Because too many people can't resist it. They can't resist a smile. They can't resist a hello from a stranger on Tinder. They can't resist a subscriber. They can't resist $1. They can't resist an amenity. They can't resist $150 million. You see? But if you can, maybe you're a high harvester. Maybe you have a lofty goal. And the ingredients of it are your insights. That's the vision of heaven. That's what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. You don't settle. You don't settle for what doesn't match with your unflappable desire. And yeah, it might look like situational suicide. Yep. How can you pass that up? How can you not take the obvious path? I don't settle anymore. My settlement is within me. What feels right with me, that's where I settle. And if it doesn't match out here, I'm not buying it. So I hope you will consider being a high harvester. Someone who understands how far-reaching a lofty goal is. But if you're willing to wait for the right time, wait for the right opportunity, wait for the right inspired action, your dreams will surprise you. They will become more than you could imagine. All because you resisted the low-hanging fruit, the obvious choice, what everybody else would have chosen because it just seemed so right. No. What feels right will often feel out of reach, impossible, circuitous and mysterious. That's the oblivious choice. It's kind of a naive way to do things, but it's the only way to be a high achiever. And I hope you'll consider that in your journey. And how many times have you settled when you know you wanted the loftier thing? My name is Ryan Aber. I hope that these insights were helpful to you. And if they were, please check out my blog, mymorningmotivator.com.